Hi there, folks. Sean Broderick, and I'm in New Orleans at the New Orleans Investment Conference. A lot of great little mining companies here. This time I'm talking with Ryan King. He's the VP of Corporate Development for Calibre Mining. And hi, I just need you to back up for a little bit, okay? Thank you very much. Okay, this is a company with 2 operating mines in Nicaragua, and they have a portfolio of assets down there. Up and coming, priced under $1 right now. How much longer, I can't say. Ryan's going to give you a scoop on the company. Ryan, could you speak to my viewers?
Excellent. Yeah, thanks for the time, Sean. I really appreciate it. And I recall we did this a couple years ago in our last company. The last company that we put together was called Newmarket Gold. But Newmarket Gold is a very analogous story to the new Calibre Mining, in the sense that in Australia, when we did Newmarket Gold, we had 3 producing gold mines. Those mines had less than a year and a half of reserve and mine life in front of them. Their all-in sustaining cost was between $1,100 and $1,200 an ounce, and they had very little in the way of exploration spent on them.
Yes.
We were successful. Our team, including Doug Forrester, Doug Hurst, Blaine Johnson, Ray Threlkeld, were successful in finding new ore, particularly at a mine called Fosterville, which became one of the highest grade underground gold mines in the world. We sold the company for a little over $1 billion. Today it would be worth $4 to $5 billion if we had kept it, but we rolled into Kirkland Lake shares, which has been one of the best performing gold stocks and stocks on the TSX.
Wealth Megatrend subscribers know it well. We already took half gains on it. We're riding the rest.
Now, past performance, as you know, is never an indicator of future success. Not always. However, a lot of times people will back a team because they see something geologically, optimize the mines, things like this. And we do see that opportunity at these new mines that we've just acquired and joined forces with B2 Gold. So we acquired 2 producing gold mines in Nicaragua from B2, a development stage project called Pavon, and B2 is now our largest shareholder. We have a little over $170 million market capitalization. We have roughly $40 million in cash. Essentially no debt other than a payment to B2 Gold and a convertible debenture to B2 Gold.
Right.
And we see excellent opportunity at these mines, and therefore we're spending, I think it's yet to be approved by the board, but I'm sure it will be, between $10 and $13 million on exploration. So that's a 6 to 7 times increase in drill meterage than what has been done over the last couple of years.
Okay, just a few questions right now, if I could, then you come on. Now, one thing you guys did with your last company was you took a small resource and you made it bigger, right?
Correct.
And that's the goal with like this one as well, right? And also, what are you actually have producing gold mines? How much will they actually produce next year? And what's the all-in cost on that?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we're just working on our budgets and our production and our guidance for 2020. So if we look at 2019, B2 Gold guided 150 to 160,000 ounces of gold amongst the 2 gold mines. So consolidated, that was the number. And I think the all-in sustaining cost for one of the mines was $1,150, and that was La Libertad. And at El Limon, I believe it was $1,000 all-in sustaining cost. Now, since we've acquired them, we've come out with partial guidance for the 4th quarter, so 10 weeks. 32 to 35,000 ounces of gold at an all-in sustaining cost of $950 to $980.
Oh, so you guys are already working on lowering costs.
Yeah, no, that's really critical for these operations. And obviously, if you look at the current gold price at $1,500 an ounce, you can see we have a very healthy profit margin, and we'll be investing in these assets. So one of the opportunities we see, and when you look through different opportunities, you'll notice that when a company like ours is very focused, 100% of our time, 100% of our capital going into these assets, it can have a very positive and material impact on those assets. And I believe, ourselves, we believe that, and I believe that B2 Gold probably also believes that because they're one of our largest shareholders,
right.
30%. And so I think there's an incredible opportunity here for us with the money we're spending on exploration to expand resources, make new discoveries at these mines, like we did with Fosterville and Newmarket Gold. And as you just said, the shares are under $1. We have essentially no debt, a healthy cash position, and we'll be adding cash to the balance sheet as we go forward.
You guys have cash flow, which is a really nice thing for any company like this. What's the grade on the mines, by the way?
Yeah, that's a great question, because in 2017, B2 Gold made a discovery, and they discovered the El Limon high-grade open-pit vein structure, which is 250 meters away from the mill. So this very high grade resource, we have about 200,000 ounces in reserve at 4 grams open pit. We have 700,000 ounces in resources at 5.4 grams open pit. So
let me tell you, open pits of that grade are actually quite rare.
It's truly probably a very world-class, low sulfidation epithermal vein deposit. We also think it's going to grow. We see down plunge extensions. We see along strike extensions. We've just announced we've just started to drill there again, so that's exciting. News flow will be coming. But the key here is this mine was an underground mine. It's now transitioned to an open pit mine. So we see costs coming down, we see grade increasing, and an incredible opportunity for Calibre shareholders.
Great. You also have another project with Gold as well, right? Also in Nicaragua.
Yeah, so before we did the transaction with B2 Gold, Calibre, as an exploration company, had been in Nicaragua for 10 years. Exploring, we identified and outlined 2.4 million ounces of gold in 3 projects in the Borowski concessions.
Okay.
So Gold is a joint venture partner of ours. They've spent a little over $10 million. They're earning into a 70% interest. And this, again, is a low sulfidation epithermal vein district. In that project alone, we have 800,000 ounces of resources at 5.5 grams. We think that's going to get substantially bigger as time goes on. There's tens of kilometers of strike length to these systems, and so we have additional opportunities in the country, along with a development stage project we have called Pavon, which we're working on permitting now. We're going to do some drilling there, and an updated resource will come from that could be ore feed to one of our mines.
So more projects in the pipeline.
Yeah.
So you are in Nicaragua. How are you treated by the government there? Like, how much are they taking in taxes? How much do you have to pay them? That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a great question. And Nicaragua is not a well-known jurisdiction for mining for a lot of people. Now, what I'll say is this: in 2009, B2 Gold acquired these assets, spent over $100 million on one of the mines to go from heap leach to a milling operation. And have been operating there successfully for 10 years.
Right.
The government gets a 3% royalty, which is pretty standard. The government also gets a 30% tax rate, corporate tax,
which is about what they pay in Canada.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so they have had nothing but good success, good regulations, good mining legislation there over the last 10 years, and I believe that will just continue. We recently met with the mines minister, who was supportive of this deal. He was supportive of B2 Gold being a big shareholder, and Calibre now coming in and spending quite a bit more on development and exploration. So they were excited about that. It's re-energized the workforce, the unions, the people, and the government to say, hey, this is exciting. Foreign investment is coming to the country, and they like what we're doing. And so we're pretty excited about how things are going forward. I also had the chance to meet with the president of the country about 2 weeks ago. And, his view was, tell me a little bit about this transaction, which we did. And he was very excited because he was actually born at La Libertad, one of these mines.
No kidding.
Yeah. Now, the important thing here is, over the last 12 months, because it's got limited mine life, there's no reserves there. There's just resources, and we're mining those resources. So over the last 12 to 18 months, there was actually a committee put together talking about the closure plan for this mine. Now, with us coming in, reinvigorating everything, re-energizing and focusing on these mines, and spending a huge amount of money on exploration, drilling all these fantastic targets near the mine, he was very optimistic and pumped, and he said, you have our support going forward.
Okay, so you think you can add to the mine life at this mine they thought they were going to have to close?
Yes, exactly. We have 170,000 ounces in indicated resources. We have 450,000 ounces of inferred. So we'll work to convert some of that inferred to indicated and potentially reserves. We'll also be drilling a number of great targets that are within 2 to 4 kilometers from the mill. And we're talking about targets that are, like for example, I'll say just one, Buenos Aires gold target. It's been trenched over 3 kilometers long. It has between 5 and 10 meters of 1 to 2 gram material on surface. This is a fantastic golden soil anomaly that we believe, once we start drilling it, we should have success with. It's a great target.
And so, if some viewers might be wondering, why did B2 Gold sell these mines? Well, we don't know what's on their mind, but one obvious thing might be is they have huge mines in Africa,
Correct.
and so this didn't actually fit into their operational plan because it's too small, right?
Yeah, no, and that's a good point, and I think it's fair to say that they didn't really fully sell the assets.
That's
right?
true. They own 30%.
30%.
Of your company. Yeah.
So I believe we've been working on this with the senior management of B2 Gold for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
This represented less than 7% of their production. So they're a multi-billion-dollar company.
Yeah.
And they started with these assets. They started at a $100 million company. They're now a $4.5 billion company. They've grown very successfully. They're some of the best operators, the best constructors in the business.
Yeah, we own them.
Well, they're very successful, right?
Yeah.
So, so to that point, we joined forces with them. They have a board member. They have a representative on our board. They're on our advisory board, and they own 30% of the company. And so, really, when you look at it, this is a great win-win situation because we can be solely focused on these assets where they and their shareholders can grow through their large, big gold mines in Africa. And with their shareholding in the company, they can also see returns if we're successful in finding, extending mine life, making new discoveries, optimizing the mines. Those shares will rise in value, and they'll be successful. So I think it's a great win-win.
So, over the next 6 months, what kind of news flow can we expect out of your company?
Yeah, that's a great question. And so we're spending, we just announced that we're spending $3 million on exploration at the El Limon gold mine. This is the high-grade open pit. So we'll be drilling down plunge of some of those extensions. We haven't announced it yet, but we're working on an update for La Libertad.
Are we allowed to say that now?
Oh, yeah, no, we're going to have an update on La Libertad.
Okay.
And, we're looking at between $8 and $9 million exploration spend there.
Okay.
So that's just to be finalized, and so we'll have an exploration update on that. Then we're going to have an updated resource on the Pavon Gold project. Mm-hmm. And then, production numbers, drill results coming out in 2020, early 2020, so lots of news.
Earnings. If they really deliver on what they have said they can do, that should help the stock a lot. That's about all my questions. Let's give them the stock symbol before we go.
Great point. So we've just graduated to the TSX.
Okay.
Under the symbol CXB. We're on the OTC, and we're eventually going to graduate to the OTCQX, and we'll be under the symbol CXBMF.
Okay.
And just to add one more thing, we were able to structure a great deal with B2 Gold. And when we negotiated this with B2 Gold, the gold price was around $1,250 an ounce.
Yeah.
And so we were able to structure a great deal and a win-win situation for both. Our valuation metrics on an enterprise value to ounce of production is roughly about $900 per ounce. Our peer group, our peers are in Mexico. They're gold producers in Mexico, Papua New Guinea, Canada, the United States. So a varying level of jurisdictions all around the world. The average is $3,500 per ounce. So we believe we've got an incredible opportunity for ourselves and shareholders, great value. We need to execute. We need to be focused on our mines, which we're going to do. We need to deliver on our forecast. And hopefully along the way, we'll have some exploration success to expand the mines, make new discoveries. And it's a great, exciting story. I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Okay, great. That wraps up all my questions. I think this is a great interview. Definitely we'll be keeping an eye on your company. You folks stay tuned. I'll have more for you from the New Orleans Investment Conference. This is Sean Barter. Thanks for speaking to my viewers.
Thank you.